It's Tuesday, which means it's time for our competition coverage. We're breaking down the biggest scores, the cleanest visuals, and the routines everybody's been talking about this weekend. From Varsity Pom, Varsity Hip Hop, and Varsity Jazz, I have some top five overall scores from the weekend from DTU Louisville all the way to DTU Nashville. It was an exciting weekend, and of course, we're going to talk about it here on No Counts Given. We are officially starting our Tuesday competition coverage. We're going to be breaking down competitions from the weekend, from state to state, competition to competition, region to region. I talked about it last week, and I'm very excited for this next chapter of No Counts Given. And today we're kicking it off with Dance Team Union, like I said, Louisville and Nashville, and it's going to be a time. So grab your coffee and let's dive into this weekend's results. But first, of course, I'm going to say it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below wherever you are watching this: YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. As I'm sure many of you know, I was at Dance Team Union's regionals in Louisville, and I had the time of my life. All of you that just came up to me wanting to talk, take pictures, chat, come to my meet and greet, it was just such a fun time and makes me very excited for what's to come with No Counts Given. And on top of that, too, Floyd Central High School puts on an incredible event. The hospitality was A plus, I have to say. The lunch, from the breakfast to the coffee to anything that we needed, there was always somebody that was there to help, and I appreciate that so much. So if you were working the event or you were just there and you were helping, major props to you. Also the dancers, major props to the dancers that were walking around, getting donations, doing fundraisers, helping out. You never really saw any of them sit down for like a 5 to 10 minute period. They would sit, maybe watch a routine, get up, and then go and help. And I just thought that was incredible. And then they performed at the end of the day, and it was amazing. So even if we're not covering it here on No Counts Given, best of luck in the future wherever you are competing at. And let us know, like, write us in the comments, send us a DM, send us a message, and let us know, because even if we're not covering it this year, it is something we'll keep an eye on for next season. Going to these competitions, traveling around, meeting all of you guys wouldn't be nearly possible without my sponsor, Dance Team Union. Dance Team Union regional competitions are unlike any other. DTU has created an atmosphere that is not only friendly and competitive, but brings your community together to support one another in a sport you all share and love. DTU values innovation and the determination to create. Your team spend hours perfecting material and pushing the boundaries for choreography. It does not go unnoticed at Dance Team Union. At DTU, you do not go home empty-handed. They award placements in every division for every routine, select special awards to standout routines, and offer partial paid bids to our Dance Team Union National Championships and All-Star Worlds with their partners at the Open Championship Series. So what are you waiting for? Find out when they will be heading to a city near you for their 10th season by visiting www.danceteamunion.com. This is Varsity Hip Hop for Louisville 1 at DTU. We had Davis County come up on top. Like, they were leading the division by quite a good spread. They ended with an 89.20, and then following them was Seton with an 86.87, and then right behind them was New Albany 85.07. So those top three, like a little bit more than 4 points, give or take, between first and third place, which in third place. And now let's look over at Dance Team Union Nashville Small Varsity Hip Hop. Okay, it was tight. The top two were very tight. You had Beach, 92.93, and then you had Mount Juliet following them, 92.60. And then look at that, third place, like those two top teams, Beach and Mount Juliet, they were really leading that division. Good Pasture Christian School in third place with an 86.90, and then right behind them, Station Camp, like following, trailing them close to that third place, which is, it was tight. I was watching the videos, you guys, and it was tight. And we're gonna get more into these hip hop scores overall, altogether. And then in large varsity hip hop, you had large varsity hip hop in Nashville. You had Henderson High School coming out on top, first place, 89.17. These 89s, 87s, even these 85s are great to see. Like, especially this early in the season, November. You still have the rest of November. You have December. You have January. A lot of these teams start doing nationals. January, February, March, April. So like these 85s to 89 range, 85 plus, great place to be this early in the season, which means you have tons of potential. Like Hendersonville High School, if they really take what the judges are talking about and what they're saying in the captions, we're going to go through them in a second, like they could really, really bump that score up. And then same with like Siegel, down in 5th place right now, 85.13. Like, take those judges, listen to what they're saying, apply it at your own will, and really work on getting those scores up. It's so early in the season. Now, top 5 overall for hip hop, you had Beach in first, 92.93. Mount Juliet, second, 2.60. Oh, and I want to mention, sorry, I didn't mention this. I did combine all of small varsity hip hop and large varsity hip hop all together from both competitions, DTU Louisville and DTU Nashville, all hip hop varsity divisions. This is what we got for top 5. So yeah, we have Beach, Mount Juliet. Both of them were at the Nashville regional competition. You had Davis, which was at Louisville. They've third place, third overall, 89.20. And then Hendersonville High School, and then Green Hill. One thing I really want to mention really quick, I think it's very important to mention that when I'm doing these top overall scores, while yes, they are all coming from the same company, DTU, they're not the same panel. These are 2 separate competitions. So between these divisions, there could be potentially 3 different panels. So when we start getting into these captions, you're going to notice these trends of these caption scores ranging. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're going through these overalls. So in those top 5 overalls, these are the 3 captions that I really wanted to dial in for a second. You have hip hop technique, execution of style, and then execution of spacing and transition. So with hip hop technique, this is going to be a 10-point spread. So max is 10 points. Judges are really looking for that proper execution of hip hop styles that you are choosing. They also want to see style components presented, such as isolations, grooves, locking, whacking, house, crumping, break, voguing, pop. You get it, okay? They want to see that. They want to see those styles that you choose clearly demonstrated, okay? Now, at Dance Team Union, judges are to credit clear demonstration of hip hop styles and style components in this caption. Now, with execution of style, consistency of styles among team members is huge, okay? So you can't just have one powerhouse out there getting the choreography, getting nitty gritty, and they're the only one. You have to have all dancers, no matter where they are at in no matter where they are at in formations. Dancers should be eating down the choreography no matter where they are at. That's how this execution of style caption, like that's one way teams can really, really boost their score here. Now, at Dance Team Union, they are to deduct for individual major errors in this caption. If you have a major error, I don't know, maybe you forget 2/8 counts of choreography and you're puzzled, you trip and you have a rough time getting back into the choreography, something, that's where these deductions are going to happen here. Now, judges are also to consider the intent of the style that is put into the choreography in this caption as well too. Now, execution of spacing and transitions, I feel like this is something that is it's going to be something that I think a lot of hip hop teams need to dial in and focus on. When I was going through the captions of Louisville and Nashville, I was noticing a trend here with these scores looking a little bit lower than what we would typically like to see. So that's just are your transitions smooth? Do they make sense? Are the patterns making sense? Does it itch my brain a little bit when you do a transition? Is all of your spacing clear? Like if you're on a gym floor and homegirl to the right's on the 3-point line, homegirl on the right is nowhere near that 3-point line, that's how I know you're off. During the competitions this weekend, I know that they were on gym floor, so that's how, when I was watching, that's what I was noticing a lot in these routines. Coaches, listen, if you know that you are about to compete on a gym floor, I need you practicing in a gym floor 2 weeks, 1 week before competition, going through your spacing. It's going to matter. If you know that you are going to compete on a 10-panel Marley floor, I need you to find somewhere where you have 10 panels, or I need you to whip out the string and tie tapes to it and measure it and get that spacing down, because this is a make or break caption. Okay, let's look at these top 5 from Louisville and Nashville. Mount Juliet, they were right behind Beach, right behind them. Now that 8.83 and that execution of spacing and transitions, that's where they got second place. That is where they got second place. Now, if they really focused in and honed in on those formations, those transitions, your spacing, I do think we would have had a different grand champion this past weekend. I do think so. But look at from that top Beach, that 9.27, like that's where they got saved. They practice on that gym floor. They knew they understood the assignment. They understood. Now all the way down to Green Hill, just that 8.83, like just those top five, so tight. A trend that I'm seeing, especially with these hip hop teams scoring in the, I would say, 88 up to that 92, like we saw with Beach, the hip hop technique and the execution of style is pretty consistent amongst all scores, which I love to see. Now that Mount Juliet, look at that 9.5 and that execution of style. Like insane, y'all, insane. Now, Davis County, they were the breakout hip hop team of this weekend. They came out and surprised me. Like, huge team. And I know everyone likes to say, like, oh, because you have a big team, you get to make more visuals. That not necessarily true. Visuals are more impactful, yes, but doesn't mean you're making more visuals, if that makes sense. A small team could have just as great as visuals as a large team, but Davis County just came out and they were giving you hip hop. They were giving you a lot of these tricks. They were giving you nice formations. They were giving you performance. They were giving us hip hop. Okay. Now, one thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be looking for this in Davis County moving forward. I really want to see them in that hip hop groove. I just need a little bit more groove from them. They were giving me a lot of rocks. I just needed a little bit more groove. It was delicious. Whatever they gave us was delicious. I can't wait to see it cleaned up and sharpened up and on a national stage. Davis, y'all really did that this past weekend. Let's look into Dance Team Union's Varsity Pom. Louisville won. My favorite division of the weekend. Look at these top five. We have Seton in that first place with an 89.03. Mount Notre Dame with that 88.43. Now, I have to say, between me and my colleagues, we knew that this one was going to be tight. I'm pretty sure Seton and Mount Notre Dame went back to back, and we watched them back to back. And yeah, I'm pretty sure. And it was like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be tight. Me and my colleagues were looking at each other like, oh, I don't know. But Seton ended up taking that title, and I got to chat with the judges in the back a little bit. And one thing that they kept praising Seton for was the athleticism and their jumps and the innovation and their choreography. All right, keep that in mind. Just take that what you will, take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, it's early on in the season, but this is what I'm hearing. This is the trend. Mount Notre Dame, I have to say, was one of my favorite palm routines as well too. Seton and Mount Notre Dame were one of my two. I kept going back and forth all day. One thing I loved about Mount Notre Dame, they have a palm transition or a palm switch in their routine. I didn't notice it. At one point I was watching, I was like, whoa, when did that even happen? And that's what I love to see. Now, I think between the two, um, Seton just had a little bit more raw and authenticity to them, while Mount Notre Dame was clean, precise, and sharp. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Dance Team Union, Small Varsity Pom, Nashville. Look at these top two scores here, 85.53 and an 85.50. Now, really quickly, I'm going to switch over to large for a second. I will tell you why. Look at Hendersonville here. 90.13 in that large varsity Pom division. Now, between these two, that 85, like it goes from that 90.13, then the second highest score from Nashville and Pom is that 85.53. Now, the top five overall for Pom this past weekend, Hendersonville High School, 90.13. Then you have Seton, 89.03. Mount Notre Dame, 88.43. Yeah, it's like these captions. Wait, we're going to get there. Don't you worry. We're going to get there. Let's look at these captions. Okay, now these are three captions where I was like, okay, I think this is where I'm seeing that judges are like, I could see that judges are like, okay, we need to see more of this, or we need to push this just a little bit more. Now, with uniformity of movement, that middle caption there, it's early on in the season. We're not expecting teams to be crisp. We're not expecting teams to be sharp And well, I take that back. We are expecting you to be sharp and crisp, but we know that it's not going to be nationals level this early, is what I'm trying to say. But that difficulty of motions is where I looked at it and I was like, okay, Hendersonville is the only team that got that 9.0, and the motions were sharp, powerful. It was impactful, and it was very nice to see. Even I watched it from a video, okay? I watched it from a video and I was like, "Oh yeah, I could see the precision in here." Now, with Seton, it just wasn't as clean and crisp as Seton is at nationals. Now, like I said, we're not expecting that, okay? We're not expecting that. Seton attacks, and I think that's what really helped them not score as low as it possibly could have been for uniformity of movement, because there was so much power and passion behind everything, where it felt raw, and it just left you with chills and you wanted more. I know that Seton is going to get all of these captions up, and they're going to be a very prime team to be looking out for this season. Okay, Mount Notre Dame. Difficulty emotions, I will agree, it was very tight to Seton. Now, yes, Mount Notre Dame was much cleaner than Seton, which then, and that uniqueness of concept and movement, we were able to read it better. So we knew each phrase was completed with Mount Notre Dame. So we understood what they were trying to communicate to us. Now, in that difficulty of motions, judges are really looking for that risk, that intricacy and control behind those palm motions. Like, can we see those pictures crystal clear? Are they making sense to us? We also want those combos that are risky and intricate and clearly controlled by those motions, right? It's going to tie in with that musicality. It's going to make more sense. And that difficulty of motion score is going to be high if you are following that risk and intricacy that judges at Dance Team Union are looking for. Now, in the uniformity of movement, very clear. Judges are looking for that uniform placement of the entire body. Now, in this caption at Dance Team Union, individual errors will be considered. So that is something to think about. And that uniformity of movement, like I was just saying, are the pictures making sense? Is it crystal clear? Is my right side even as my left side? Are the centers the same? You get what I'm saying? Like, we're really looking for that overall head, shoulders, knees, and toes cleanliness, uniqueness of concept and movement. Judges are really looking for something that's fresh and new. They really are. It's in the score sheets, y'all. The judges say, the score sheets say, we want something fresh and new. Movement of dancers throughout the routine includes creative and unpredictable elements. That's something to really think about, okay? Like, if there's going to be a whip in your palm music, okay, are you going to do a toe touch on there? Did the judges predict that was going to happen? Yeah, that's fine. Do something out of it that might not be predictable. So then it's like, oh, okay, there we go. Now we're playing with something fresh and new. So something to think about, like, throughout your routine, how are you incorporating fresh and new concepts to the judges so that way you don't look like everybody else? Now, Mount Notre Dame, like I said, they were a highlight this past weekend at DTU Louisville. Now, you didn't see it because I'm not going to show it. You're going to have to see it when they perform. That palm switch is quite literally insane, but they had great visuals, formation patterns, technique was beautiful. They challenged their dancers with technique, and Mount Notre Dame was definitely a highlight of my weekend. Now, Seton Pom, obviously, come on now. Incredible. Look at those jumps straight from the beginning. They really brought passion and power and just raw, authentic performance. And good job, Seton. Y'all really did that this past weekend. Now, of course, we're going to talk about Varsity Jazz, y'all. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little confused. I have questions I can't wait to ask and get answered. But let's go through these top five at Louisville. You had Mount Notre Dame at that 84.97. Earl following behind 83.03 with Eastern at that 78.87. Bullet East 78.33 and Carmel at 75.5. Oh, now over at Nashville Varsity Jazz, you had Independence at that 84.20, Riverside following behind them with an 83.90, and then Blackman at a 83.33. Now let's just go through the top five really quick. So you have top five here. Mount Notre Dame starting it off at that highest score for Jazz at DTU competitions. Louisville and Nashville combined together with that 84.97. Now with Mount Notre Dame, great first place, great place to be, right? I'm puzzled at the 84.97, and let me explain it to you guys for a second. I'm going to switch over to the top five jazz key captions. Um, but with Mount Notre Dame, I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was clean. I felt like I understood the concept and the phrases they were trying to speak during their routine. Now, this is my thought. Okay, it did feel like a lyrical routine. I remember when I was first watching it, I thought that for a second. I thought this was a beautiful lyrical routine. For that reason, that is the only reason I could come to the 84.97 with Mount Notre Dame. Technique of skills. It's great. It's high. They're at that 8.90. Uniqueness of concept and movement, 8.0. Now, the difference in the categories, it could play a factor there. It could. It possibly could. Communication and projection. Now, 8.10 down in Riverside High School, and that third top five right here, they got that 8.4. Then same with Carroll. And then uniqueness of concept and movement, Riverside, also with that high score of that 8.3. It was those technique of skills that really helped Mount Notre Dame get into that score that they got, quite frankly. Now, with that communication and projection, the judges are looking for the ability to connect with an audience and provoke an appropriate emotional response. So think about jazz. Okay, when you think about jazz, I'm not going to cry to a jazz routine. Okay, I don't want to be thinking about my lost dog that ran away 10 years ago in a jazz routine, right? I want it to be upbeat. I want to have fun. I want to hop in there with you. You get my point, right? Like the appropriate emotion wouldn't be what a lyrical routine would give you. Uniqueness of concept and movement. Judges are looking to see if this routine is fresh and new. Okay. Now at Dance Team Union, deductions go here for inappropriate music, movement, or costuming only after crediting other factors. Points will not be deducted from any other scoring category. Okay, so with those deductions for inappropriate music, movement, or costuming, let's look at that score of Mount Notre Dame. They were at 8.0. So I could imagine that they got deducted points here for the style that they were competing. I could be wrong, okay? I'm speaking from my own opinion. I possibly could be wrong. This is what I would imagine is happening here. Now, with technique of skills, judges are looking for that proper technical execution of all leaps, turns, jumps, and extensions. So if you are giving us a turn combination, are you technically executing it the way that it should be properly, right? If you're giving us leaps, same thing, extensions, everything, any technical skill you are giving us, judges are looking here to score what you put on the floor. Now, I want to look at Carroll High School really quick, their concept, uniqueness of concept and movement, because they brought a clear storyline. So they gave us a good storyline throughout the routine, which then it was easy for the judges to pick up what they were putting down, if you get what I'm saying. So they were able to score higher, which really helped them in that score caption. Now, of course, I'm going to do it. We're going to talk about the host, Floyd Central. I was talking with Brittany, the head coach of Floyd Central High School, backstage, and she was letting me know. I'm going to be quite real with you guys. This season, getting to this point here was not the easiest. They were dealing with challenges, with injuries, even before going on to do this performance. And I got to give props to FC here. They nailed this performance. It was beautiful to watch. I have been a Floyd Central fan for years. You guys probably hear me talk about it, but there's something very special about this routine, the concept, the theme. Floyd Central, you're on to something very special. I know you guys are going for that another national title, so I look forward to seeing this in a competing stage. This was an exhibition performance for Floyd Central, so I look forward to seeing them compete this routine. This weekend, I am packing my bags. We are taking No Counts Given back on the road. Of course, we are going to DTU. Drum roll, please. Detroit. I'm going to be in Detroit this weekend. I already told many of you guys, so many of you guys wrote me. You're like, are you going to be at Detroit? I'm going to be at Detroit this weekend. Of course, I'm going to be at Detroit. There are so many good teams in just the Michigan area, and I can't wait to witness some beautiful magic this weekend. Stay tuned for Thursday's episode. I'm going to be doing some pre-coverage of Detroit. It's going to be fun. There are some teams I'm excited to see that I cannot wait to talk about. And it's going to be a great time. If you're going this weekend, let me know. Come and find my big no counts given step and repeat. I had to use it for the first Tuesday episode. Of course, I was like, where can I put it? It's tucked in back there, but I had to use it. We're going to put it to work. I'm not just going to take it to the events. We're going to use it and get ready to see more of it as well too. Come and find the step and repeat. Have fun with us. Take pictures. I'm going to be interviewing athletes while I am there, and it's going to be a great time. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday, and I hope to see you on Thursday. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, send to all of your friends, and thanks for watching.